Well, the 47th Parliament is officially open for business, with the PM promising a more unified class of 2022. We'll believe that when we see it. But first, let the pomp and ceremony begin. From smoking ceremonies to church services,
The blessing of God Almighty.
19-gun salutes to
The usher of the black rod.
today the new Parliament pomped it. They pomped it real good.
I declare open the 47th Parliament of the Commonwealth.
First order of business,
Dick.
Labor MP Milton Dick, to be precise.
Mr. Dick is declared elected as Speaker.
Fun fact, Mr Dick once featured in a subreddit for absolute units. His impressive stature making the traditional dragging of the Speaker less of a drag and more of an escort. With a rare sense of hope and optimism in the air, the PM promised a less divisive Parliament than the last, choking up in the process.
I say to everyone here, don't miss the chance. Because you're not here for that long, none of us will be. And when you're sitting on the porch, thinking about what you did, you can either have a source of pride or a source of regret. Make it a source of pride. And
It's a beautiful sentiment.
I want more unity, less division.
Really heartwarming stuff.
I want to bring the country together.
New Parley, new Tude, which I'm sure will be shared by
And if you
everyone.
think I'm going to accept that, forget about me.
OK, almost everyone. The current Parliament's longest-serving MP, or Father of the House Bob Katter, didn't quite get the memo.
You can feel my rage. And if you think I am not going to turn that into brutality, you believe in the tooth fairy.
And these guys weren't playing happy families either.
And we won't stand for it.
A group of young protesters demanding real solutions to the jobs and housing crisis and climate change action. The latter, top of the new government's hit list.
It's time to end the climate wars.
Labor's new climate bill is one of 18 pieces of legislation set to be introduced when this new-look Parliament really gets down to business tomorrow.
Are you going to be supporting the climate change bill?
No, I will not. No, we've been very clear on that.
Will your party be supporting the climate change bill?
So with the hint of tension already in the air, how long will the honeymoon period last?
If you want a future in politics, look forward to 10,000 fates worse than death.
Cheery stuff. And we caught up with independent MP for Goldstein, Zoe Daniel, a little earlier. Zoe, congratulations on your first day on the job. How did it feel walking through those doors?
Amazing. It felt amazing. And look, it's been a couple of months since the election. There's been a lot going on, but very much building up to this big day and this big moment. And it really is time, I think, to get on with the job now. I'm giving my first speech, of course, tonight, and then I'll be an active participant in the parliamentary process. And that's a great thing on behalf of my community.
Is it weird doing a grown-up thing that you've only seen other people do before?
Well, I tell you one thing is that as a journalist, you think you know what's going on behind the scenes, but then when you're actually behind the scenes, you realise there's a lot more going on than you knew about. So there's a big learning process going on, which is exciting and fun too.
What was the biggest thing that you were like, what?
Oh, look, I think it's the level of discussion and collaboration that's actually going on behind the scenes. And of course, I haven't experienced it before, so I don't know if that's a new thing or not. But, you know, there really is a lot of interaction going on with both the government and the opposition and also members of the crossbench. So it feels quite collaborative and productive too.
All right, well, that's enough telling us what journalists don't know but think we know on our air. We will move on. You mentioned your maiden speech, so this is a big moment for any politician. You look back on it for years and years to come. What have you chosen to focus on?
Yeah, so no pressure, and you really want to have an impact with the speech that you make because, as I'm told, you know, it is there for the rest of your life. But look, I think if there's a centrepiece of the speech, it's about rebuilding trust in leadership and it's about reconnecting community with the Parliament. So as a community independent, obviously that's very much central to my mission. That is to directly engage with my community and then take that direct representation to Canberra and bring it to the House here. So that's really what I intend to do.
Let's talk climate. The government will be looking for your support for its climate bill. What would get you over the line?
Look, I think there's a couple of things. One of the things that I've spoken to the government about, and also other independents have been involved in that process, is enshrining 43% as a floor, not a ceiling. I think the government's indicated that it's very open to that. I just felt that there was a risk that if you just stick to the 43, then a future government could say, well, that's all we have to hit. So there's that. But there's also just more explicit language about ratchet mechanisms, so how to be more ambitious, and also the reporting. So to hold the minister and the government of the day to account about whether they are actually making progress in line with the science.
So is there someone in particular who surprised you today on your first day?
Look, there's lots of surprises here, especially when you can't find your way around the Parliament and you have to draw a mud map from the front door to your office. So, yeah, every door opens a new surprise. But, you know, I think it is interesting, and there's lots of people with different views and perspectives to meet, which is good.
Very diplomatic. OK, so who's first on your lunch date list? Are we talking Lambie, Pauline or Bob Katter?
Well, I sat next to Bob Katter today.
That's not a lunch date.
We had a bit of a chat.
But gosh, that would have been interesting.
Actually had a coffee with Bob Katter a couple of weeks ago when I was up here. And I'm from Tasmania, much as I live in Goldstein in Melbourne now. So I actually went to Tassie and met with Jackie Lambie a couple of weeks ago, along with Bridget Archer. So, you know, there's lots of relationships to be built on all different sides with all sorts of people with different perspectives.
Well, Zoe, this is far too optimistic. It's probably not good for ratings. We will let you go.
Sorry, no controversy.
Thanks, Zoe.
Hey, Zoe.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks, guys.